Hey guys, welcome back with another Skyblock video. Today we're going to be talking about all the new things that are coming soon in the collections, and basically when I think they're coming out, what they're going to be, how good they're going to be, and how they're going to change the meta. Now the first one is in the Week collection, and basically all that we get from the coming soon title is Harvesting Upgrade. Now there's not really anything that has to do with harvesting much, but basically I think it's going to be an enchanted Harvesting 6 book. But it could be anything. I assume this won't affect the meta that much, other than making a whole bunch of money faster. So basically, I think that Silk Touch melons aren't going to be as good, and Pumpkin is going to get a lot better. I think this is going to come out with the dungeon update. It might not, though. They might have a whole other farming update planned, but we don't really know. Now, the next collection is the Carrot collection, and basically, I think this is going to have to do a bunch with a new pet-like update that might be coming out with the dungeon. I think it's also going to be something kind of like Pokemon where you can capture mobs and use them to fight with. Basically, I think this because catching egg, mega catching egg, and super catching egg. Also, we have the things like carrot candy and pet food. Now, I think that we might get the pet update, quote unquote, with the dungeon update, but you never know. I think this might be a way to make catching mobs and fighting stronger mobs meta. So you just catch a mob and then you use it to fight other mobs with. But it also might as well just be straight pets. I don't really know how that's going to work though, but we'll see. I do think it'd be interesting though to see like people with sea emperors and like water hydras as pets. I also think they would be pretty good as mobs to help fight for your team. But we'll see. I want to see that, but at the same time, we might very well just get a new cosmetic update. Now, what we have inside the Sugarcane update is basically an upgrade to the Speed Talisman, which is going to be the Speed Ring. I assume it's going to be the uncommon one. And then we go to the Speed Artifact, which I assume is going to be the rare Speed Talisman upgrade. Basically, just 2 more talismans for us to put into our epic giant talisman bag. And also, another thing we're probably going to get with the dungeon update is the random book. I have no idea what this could be because it's literally called the random book. I assume it's probably something to do with enchanting, but it looks like it's going to be an epic, so it could also be something very meta. I have no idea though. I assume we're going to get this all in the dungeon update. There's no reason to think otherwise, but we'll see. Now we're in the leather collection, and basically there's only one thing in here. It's the horse mount egg. Now, I don't really know why or how this is going to work, because I know for a fact they can have horses on Hypixel, because they had them for Bed Wars, right? But I don't know how on planet Earth they're going to make this work with such a small map and horses that are pretty fast. I assume, though, this has something to do with the new update coming out, which is the dungeon update, obviously. But I assume they're going to add a new area that's larger and more quest-based. I'll talk more about it in the part 2 of the dungeon update video if we can get 10 likes. Now, this is the lamb collection. What's it called? The mutton collection. Basically, the only thing in here is the polymorph wand. I think this is going to be something to deal with lower level enemies. Hopefully one of those item abilities I want to see, where it basically gives a mage-based class, or basically a mana-heavy class, the ability to use a spell that will stun an enemy, a lower level enemy, obviously not just turn a boss, but it's probably going to turn into a sheep. Something like the sheep stick, if you ever played Dota. Probably most of you haven't, but basically I think that's what it's going to be. Now in the rabbit collection, there's one of these new talismans I think is going to be pretty relevant, which is basically the luck talisman, and this could very well just be an epic right out of the back. The reason why I think this is going to be pretty important is because if you want to make a bunch of money, I think if you just switch to rabbit minions right now, and you use Time Dio's method, and you can get like 2 or 3 or 4 of these, maybe before the new update comes out, I think you can sell these bad boys for a ridiculous amount, because people with a lot of money are going to be too lazy to switch from their other stuff. Basically, I think this is going to be a decent money-making method at first when the new update comes out, and I assume this is going to come with the dungeon update. Now, any of you guys who know has been looking at the collections, there's some things I left out, like the pet eggs, the rabbit. Basically, I'll put them on the screen right now. But the reason why I left those out is because really there's no reason to talk about them. They're basically all just going to be the pet update, and it's just going to be the different mobs you can summon, and it's pretty obvious what they are. I assume they're all going to come with the dungeon update, because I know that's what everyone's thinking, is that the dungeon update and basically something like the pet update. That's what I'm calling it. Boom, trademarked. It's my thing now. But the pet update is going to come out with the dungeon update. Now this one is interesting. It's the diamond refinery. I don't really know what this could be, but I know that if you compress carbon enough, it becomes diamond, and coal is just carbon. It's dirty carbon. But I assume this is going to have something to do with, it's going to be a new, basically, workstation, something like a furnace, but you basically put coal in there, and then you get diamonds from it. So maybe it's a good way to make money if you have a coal minion, and you can just make diamonds with it. I don't really know what their plan is with that, though. I don't know how much it'll affect the meta. I assume it's going to come out with the dungeon update, but it's also been there for a really long time, so I have no idea what it's going to do. Now this one is interesting. It's the Golem hat. I basically think this is going to be a really good helmet that, even though it's definitely not going to be as good as Dragon Armor, I think it'll somehow be relevant. I don't know, though, exactly. I think it'll be a pretty fun item, especially for mid-game players to get. I'm looking forward to getting it because I'm trying to get every set of armor in the game, but we'll see. This one is strange because it's kind of sounds like another enchanted crafting material, like enchanted gold or enchanted gold blocks, but it's also at the end of the good old collection, and usually when you have an expensive enchanted crafting material, you'd want something after to craft with it. So I don't know if we're going to get this right away. If we do, I assume it's going to be something like a very good item. It might be a talisman of some sort, or it might be something you put on the side of your island, like a nice little furniture item, basically, but it's going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think there's a reason why they're making it an epic, but we'll see. I'm really curious as to what it's going to be. Now, this is an interesting one as well, because it's in the Emerald Collection. It's called the Emerald Ring. And from what we've seen from the most recent Emerald items, like the Emerald Blade, is that it's based upon your money. Also, there's a lot of stuff to do with money in the Emerald Collection. So I'm curious to see if this will be something like, if you have so many coins, it'll increase your stats by so much. Though I have no idea what it could be. I'm going to assume it's going to be an uncommon, but it also could be an epic to rare. I don't think it's going to be common because we already have so many common things. It might just be an upgrade to the Talisman of Coins or the Magnetic Talisman for all we know. I assume it's going to come with the dungeon update, as most of these talismans will do that I'm talking about. But we will see. And it could be something entirely different. It could be actually a very good item, a very good ability. We'll see, though. Now, in the Redstone minion, we have good old Compass Talisman. Basically just going to be another talisman that is going to give you a stat boost. I think it's going to have a pretty decent ability, because why else would they keep it for this long? But I don't know if it'll be like something ridiculous, like if you're facing north, you'll get better stats, or something like that, or you pick your favorite direction, and then you get better stats if you're looking at it. I literally have no idea what it could be. That would be interesting, though, but we'll see. I assume it's going to come with the dungeon update, as most of these talismans do. I'm getting tired of saying that, but we'll keep on saying it for now. Now, this one could very well change the meta entirely, which I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but it is the Reforge Anvil. Now, this thing could literally be so valued that I would recommend saving Obsidian right now for it, because this thing could very well be one of the best items in the game. If this takes away the fact that we have to spend so much money at the blacksmith to reforge, which I don't think it will, but there's always the chance, then this thing will literally become the best item in the game, the most sought after item in the game, because rather than having to spend 500,000 trying to get godly on your freaking strong set, you can just come here and do it. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think the prices will stay the same. Maybe you'll get a discount, and I assume it's just going to be something you can place at your island and use it like the blacksmith. But we'll see. It could be really interesting. It could be the wild card of this whole entire dungeon update. Glowstone hat is an interesting one because there's basically a bunch of things like it, where I assume it's just going to be a lamp that you put on top of your head, and it basically just makes light constantly shine around you. Now, I think it might do pretty well with the refraction armor or the crystal armor, whatever you want to call it. But I really don't think it's going to be that good. I'm going to assume it's going to come with the dungeon update. It could have some pretty good stats and decent ability, but I think we're going to get a pretty subpar item here. I think it's just going to be an item for the memes, but we'll see. We'll see. This is one of those things that I don't really know what it could be. It's just like the random book. Literally, it's just called the random firework, but it's in the gunpowder collection, as you can see. And I assume this is basically just going to be a little firework that just shoots off a random image. Not really anything too important. Nothing too meta changing. This one, I don't know if it's that relevant. It's just going to be the end island. I assume this is going to be something you can place at your home, like any other island you can place in your island. You know what I mean? Like the Netherwar island, the desert island. Basically, you can just place it and then it'll shoot off. And I assume this is where you can just kill Enderman, and that's it. Now, this is one of those things that could be very, very good and could be very important that's coming with the dungeon update. And it's the ghast armor. And you're like, oh, why would the ghast armor be good? Well, first of all, because it's already like going to be an expensive item to make, because as you can tell, like if you don't have a ghast minion, you're not getting ghast tears. It's just a fact. You can always buy them at the alchemist, but at the same time, it's still a hard collection to get up all the way. But the reason why I think this is going to be so good is because it's an expensive item to make, and I think ghast, what do? They shoot fireballs. I think this armor might be very good for a spell DPS class if they do that. If they don't, I assume it can be a pretty good armor with a decent ability. I assume it's going to come out in the dungeon update as well, but we'll never know until it happens. But I assume we're getting it pretty soon. Now this is a weird one. It's just the blaze hat. I'm pretty sure the blaze hat's already in the game, but it's just a drop you can get from blazes. It's not that good, but if it is something different, then we might get an interesting item. Pretty sure it's already in the game though. It just gives you like plus 20 strength. So don't get too excited for this dungeon update. Is it going to change the meta? No. It's probably not even going to change the beginning level meta, but we'll see. Now this one's an interesting thing because it's the super torch and the acacia wood. Acacia, I don't know how to say that. But basically I think this is going to be a torch that's really bright and that's pretty stupid. But I mean honestly, what else could it be? Let's be realistic, guys. There's really not much to it. It could be a weapon for all I know that does fire damage, but I really don't think we're going to get anything that special with this. Now, there's two things in this collection, the raw salmon collection, that we might see that might be relevant. And one of them is the salmon armor, and then the other one is the salmon hat. Now, the only reason why I think this could be very good is because I think if there's a water area in the new dungeon update, then this could just be like a cheap version of the diver armor, which basically allows you to breathe underwater and swim fast, but probably not as good at stats. Or it could be its own thing, and it could be very good. Why do I think that? Well, first of all, it's going to be the last item in the collection. So this could very well be legendary armor. Of course, the collection's only 10k, but I assume we're going to get epic armor here. And epic armor has not always been the best, like magma armor. It's pretty resident sleeper. But I assume this salmon armor is going to be actually different. The salmon hat, I have no idea. It might just be for fishing. We could just get completely destroyed and get jebaited. But I assume we're going to get pretty good gear here. Something that for mid-range players to use. Something pretty good, though. Here's another thing, kind of like the glowstone hat. Literally the same thing. It's called the sea lantern hat. I assume it's just going to be something you put on your head. It's going to be bright. It might shine brighter in the water than the glowstone hat does, which once again might point to a water area. But I'm going to assume we're not going to get a water area just right now because there's nothing hinting towards it. But this is probably not going to change the meta that much. Probably coming with the dungeon update. We might not see it used that much. Just to be honest, it's a level 1 collection. It costs 10 to get to it, so we'll see. Now, the interesting thing about these two collections is there's enchanted versions of these things, but there's nothing to craft with them so far, so they're pretty much useless, which is why I think that they might add stuff to fishing in general. And they might come out with a new fishing update, kind of like they did in the beginning, but something more relevant to today's meta. But we'll see. Guys, that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe because it helps so much and it's free to do. It doesn't cost you anything. The only thing you have to deal with is if you subscribe, you have to deal with me. And obviously, comment if you guys think this was awful. And if you think it was good, also comment. Let me know what you like. And also, guys, I think I'm going to do, if you guys obviously watch Boffy, but I'm going to do a video like his modded playthrough and basically just copy it with his mod pack. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I'm going to make it anyways, but well, we'll see if my computer can handle it. But I'll see you guys later and have a good time.